yes, the land is green from north to west, from the south to the east. The land is green for us in Nigeria if only we know how to manage our potential very well to yield the desired result for the country in terms of agriculture, for food sufficiency and revenue generation. Last week, my guest on the program was a lawyer turned farmer, Damilola Aisha Titilola, who spoke extensively on animal husbandry and meat processing. Today, we shall be talking on another topic, or let me say a continuation of what we started the week before. Stay tuned and let's go on the journey, the greenhouse.
Oh, the harvest is ready, 'cause he told me so. It's green and it's all mine. Standing in the rain as the clouds go gray. The sun, the rose, and the earth sings. The season's just beginning. Sunlight it hides as the clouds make way. From the pouring of my blessings, I will not be afraid.
Just about 2 weeks ago, we started something on yam cultivation. We brought you and let you know that yams are starchy staples in the form of large tubers produced by annual and perennial vine grown in Africa. Worldwide, yam production as at now amount to about 78 million tons, of which Africa produces 96%. Most of the world's production comes from the West Africa, representing 94%, with Nigeria alone producing about 72%, equally more than 48 million tons per annum. The remaining 30% is shared among Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, Togo, and Benin Republic. Oh yes, what type of soil is needed for yam cultivation? We told you that the best soil for growing yams are the sandy clay loams. However, yams can be cultivated on most soil types once the yam holes are properly dug and filled with organic material. Organic matter improves soil structure, acts as a slow release fertilizer, and allow for optimal growth of tubers, adequate drainage, proper aeration, and a variable soil and sufficient moisture, not in a waterlogged area anyway, are other critical requirements for yam cultivation.
My life is a journey. I will walk with you. I will go where you want me to. Yes, I will go. Come on. The land is green. You told me that the land is green. It's green, oh, oh. The land is green, it's green.
We also told you that land plowing for yam cultivation goes thus: that plowing or dig the land up to a depth of 15 to 20 centimeters. Dig the pits of size 45 by 45 by 45 centimeters at a distance of 1 by 1 meter. What we are saying is, when you want to dig the soil or the land for yam cultivation, the depth should be 15 to 20 centimeters, while the pit in which you are going to put the yam stet should be 45 by 45 centimeters at a distance of 1 by 1 meter. Fill up the 3/4 of the pits with 1 to 1 to 1.25 kilogram cattle manure or composites are mixed with topsoil. Plant the cut tuber pieces and completely cover the pit with a living material to conserve soil moisture and maintain optimum temperature. That is how to prepare the land for the cultivation of yam. Now, what are we going to discuss today on the cultivation of yam? We are going to talk about pre-sprouting of sets, fertilizer application, trailing, and also weed control. Relax, stay back, and let's enjoy today's program. It's still a greenhouse from Pensioners 106.7 Agbarigo Onireke Ibadan, Voice of Liberation. And you know that part of what gives a man being liberation is food. Yorùbá bọ̀ wọ́n ní bí oúnjẹ bá ti kúrò nínú ìṣẹ́ tó ń ṣẹ́ ni ìṣẹ́ ti kù fẹ́ẹ́rẹ́fẹ́ ìṣẹ́ ti dínkù ònìyẹn. Stay tuned.
In the rain as the clouds go gray, the thunder roars and the earth sings. The season's just beginning. Sunlight it hides as the clouds make way. From the pouring of my blessings, I will not be afraid. I see it now, I understand, I know, so I embrace it. Dance in the rain, it's for my seed to grow. For every prayer and every seed I've sown, Lord of the harvest knows I'm reaping back 100-fold. The land is green, it's green, oh, oh. The land is green, it's green. Can't you see? The harvest is ready, 'cause the Lord of the harvest told me so. It's green for me. It's green for me. Standing alone can be a heavy load, but my vows I won't be breaking. Though my heart is aching, I got a word and I won't let go. It's your will I'm seeking, so I keep on believing. I see it now, I understand, I know, so I embrace it. Dance once again, it's time for me to grow. For every prayer and every tear I've sown, Lord of the harvest knows I'm reaping joy 100-fold. The land is green, it's green, oh, oh. The land is green, it's green. Can't you see? The harvest is ready, 'cause the Lord of the harvest told me so. It's green for me. I thought it was over, thought you were done with me, but we're just beginning. Whoa, my life is a journey. I will walk with you, I will go where you want me to. Yes, I will go. Come on.
Welcome back. The program is still the Greenhouse on Pensioners 106.7 Agbarigo Onireke Ibadan. Pre-sprouting of yam sets for our yam cultivation. Because of the emergence period of most freshly prepared sets in the field that last from 3 to 12 weeks, it is desirable for any farmer to pre-sprout the set before they are planted. The procedure assures the emergence of sets when planted and minimize expenses on weeding before sets emergence. To pre-sprout a set, a shallow ditch is dug in a clear shaded area under trees, under bananas, or under a shed constructed for the purpose. Sets are placed side by side in the ditch and covered with dry grasses or dry banana leaves. In cases where no ditch is dug, the set can be placed side by side on the ground instead. Greenhouse is the program, and we are talking about yam cultivation. Straight to fertilizer application on our yam farm. A hectare of yam will need about 128 kilogram of nitrogen fertilizer, 128 kilograms of nitrogen fertilizer, 17 kg of phosphorus, and 162 kg of potassium from the soil. The level of soil fertility in the field and the amount of fertilizer that needs to be added can be determined by submitting the soil sample for analysis. The assistance of the local farm management technicians should be sought regarding this aspect of yam cultivation. The lesson, or let's say the lecture here, has to do with the amount of fertilizer needed for a hectare of land of your yam plantation. That a hectare of land where you plant your yam needs 128 kilograms of nitrogen, 17 kilograms of phosphorus, and 162 kilograms of potassium from the soil. That is the level of soil fertility in the field, and the amount of fertilizer that needs to be added can be determined by submitting the soil sample of your farm for laboratory analysis. That is, you can contact consultants on farming, especially on yam cultivation, on other tubers, to analyze your soil and know exactly the amount of fertilizer that you are going to add to the natural ones in the soil. Application of inorganic fertilizer on a yam farm. The recommended amount of fertilizer is split into two. One half applied about 1 month after emergence, and the other half applied about 2 months after the first application. The band method of fertilizer application is used with fertilizer being placed about 10 centimeters away from the plants. Please listen carefully. When you want to apply your inorganic fertilizer on your yam plantation, the system recommended that the amount of fertilizer should be split into two. Use 1.5 at about 1 month after the emergence of the yam sets, and the other half you apply it after 2 months, that is after the initial application. The band method of fertilizer application is used, that is, you put the fertilizer near the plant but about 10 centimeters away from the plant itself. Application of compost fertilizer. Yams respond well to organic fertilizers like compost, a mixture of decayed organic matters composed of plant parts and animal manure. The compost is mixed with soil while the field is being prepared, or it is placed just below the spot where sets are to be planted. That is how to apply the compost fertilizer system on your yam plantation. Stay tuned.
Is green, it's green, oh, oh. The land is green, it's green. Can't you see? I can't see. Oh, the harvest is ready, 'cause he told me so. It's green and it's all mine. As the clouds go gray, the thunder roars and the earth sings. The season's just beginning. Sunlight it hides as the clouds make way. For the pouring of my blessings, I will not be afraid. I see it now, I understand, I know. So I embrace it, dance. In the rain it's for my seed to grow. For every prayer and every seed I've sown, Lord of the harvest knows I'm reaping back 100-fold. The land is green, it's green, oh.
This program is still Greenhouse on Pensioners 106.7 Agbarigo Nireke, Ibadan. Now, weed control is an essential and integral part of yam cultivation. Controlling the weeds for the first 6 to 8 weeks after planting is important. Use a contact herbicide in the furrows during growth and manually remove weeds from around the plant. Selective herbicides can be used to control grass weeds, and manual method can be used to control broadleaf weeds. Also, we have different kinds of pests and insects that normally troubles yam on the field. The major disease problem is the one called anthracnose. Anthracnose, that is the one major disease problem on a yam farm. Anthracnose is normally seen as small black spots between the leaves vein. Some infections can coalesce to form massive blighted lesion. The disease can be significantly managed using a number of cultural practices with a combination of timely chemical control as soaking the plant material with recommended copper fungicides prior to planting and drenching the planting holes with the fungicide after planting. Green, oh, oh, the land is green, it's green, can't you see? I can't see, oh, the harvest is ready, 'cause Other steps in disease control on a farm plantation include spraying the vines upon shoot emergence, alternate fungicides to prevent the build-up to chemical resistance, encourage healthy plants by ensuring adequate levels of nutrients, sanitize the field by raking and removing fallen leaves prior to cultivation to reduce source of inoculum disease. Intercrop with corn. The corn crop helps to move the sprouts up and away from the yam leaves, reducing the infection rate. Inspect the field continually and root out infected plants, especially at the windward side of the field. Those are the steps to be taken in disease control on a yam plantation.
Standing in the rain as the clouds go gray. The sun, the rose, and the earth sings. The season's just beginning. The sunlight it hides as the clouds make way. From the pouring of my...
Before I go on the program today, harvesting is an important and the last part of our effort on yam plantation. Yams mature between 9 to 10 months after planting. When the vines are completely dried, dig out the tubers without causing injury. Generally, a yield of 10 to 15 tons per hectare for white yams and 16 to 25 tons for water yams are obtainable by following prescribed management practices. The harvested yams are stored by tying them with ropes. They have a shelf life of about 5 months. Warehouses where they are stored should be made rodent proof with metal base and wire netting. Rotten buds and sprouted buds should be removed totally from the barn. An important notice: tubers, especially those intended to be used as sets for another season's planting, are harvested at the latter part of the period. Tubers intended for consumption or for the market are sometimes harvested earlier, even before foliage yellowish sets in.
100-fold. The land is green, it's green, oh, oh. The land is green, it's green. Can't you see? The harvest is ready, 'cause the Lord of the harvest told me so.
And with that, we've come to the end of our season on yam plantation. That is crop management practice as it concerns yam planting and cultivation. On behalf of my duty continuity announcer who called me onto today's program, Agnes Obatoye, my engineer on duty, Ladi Martins Olusoji, and of course, Tony, who has been with us, or Motosho, who has been with us since the beginning of the program. My producer is Pius Insabe. I remain yours sincerely, the greenhouse man, Tunde TIAMIYU. Next week, we shall meet again. Bye for now.
Can't you see? The land is green, it's green, oh, oh. The land is green, it's green. Can't you see? The land is green, it's green, oh, oh. The land is green, it's green. Can't you see? I can see all the harvest is ready, 'cause he told me so. It's green and it's all mine.
That was Greenhouse with